Hey there everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Puborama, and in today's video I'll be talking about 3 things that you need to get your hands on this week. I'll be honest, money making is pretty freaking awful. It's times 2 money on Mr. Faber work, like who gives a flying truck. But there is some very good discount, and today I'll be breaking into the 3 best. Starting off, we have the Hydra. The Hydra is honestly one of the best jets in the game. Now, if you already own the F-160 Raiju, then purchasing a Hydra might not be a super important thing. But if you don't own the Raiju, I would say every day of the week, get this before you get the Raiju. First of all, it's literally half the price. The Raiju is $7 million. In fact, if we go over to Warstock right now, and we sort by most expensive vehicles in the game, the Raiju is literally the most expensive at 6.8 million without the trade price. That's crazy. And you might say, oh, well, get the trade price. But to get the trade price, you need to complete On Parade as a leader. And to do that, you have to not only own the Avenger, but then you have to buy the terminal inside the Avenger, which costs like $1 million plus. Then you have to go through a bunch of missions, and then you finally get the trade price. It's one of the most worthless purchases in the game. You'll be better off just buying the jet flat out. And because of that, well, it's basically $7 million to get your hands on the Raiju, where the Hydra is $3 million. And not only that, but because it's 40% off this week, you can get it for $1.8 million, making this one of the cheapest purchases you'll get for a weaponized aircraft in the game. What exactly does the Hydra have going for it? Well, first of all, it has a hover mode, just like the Raiju. So as you can see, when I take the jet off, I don't have to take it, normally off like any other plane. I can get right into the air and use it just like the Raiju, which is obviously sick. It also has a really unique way of how it flies. It kind of like glides instead of more like a helicopter, which is what the Raiju controls like. I don't know which of the two I like better. I like the Hydra for certain maneuvers, and I like the Raiju for others. I can tell you that the Hydra is much faster in hover mode, as we can see, which is definitely a big advantage. And then when you get into jet mode, it's incredibly fast as well. Not as quick as the Raiju, but it is still very fast. You have homing missiles, as I said, you have an explosive machine gun. You kind of have it all. And my favorite part is where the machine gun's mounted. It's directly on the center, making it super easy to destroy targets and take out what you are aiming at. Now, I know, a lot of people are always going to type in the comments, well, Poob, the Raiju has stealth mode and this jet doesn't. Well, here's the big thing that I always talk about. I can very easily access stealth mode. First of all, I can register as a CEO while I'm in a public lobby. And then all I need to do is go to CEO abilities and I can pay $12,000 to go completely off the radar for 3 minutes. At that point, you have every advantage the Raiju does. In fact, you don't even go off the radar when you use your weapons. And if that's not enough for you, you can then go onto your phone, you can call Lester, and go off the radar for an additional minute. That's 4 minutes off the radar. How much more time do you need? In my opinion, because of that, there's really not that much of an advantage to the Raiju, apart from the fact it does have that stealth mode constantly. But, I don't know. I think that both jets are fantastic, and you'd be a bit of a poob to not spend the 1.8 million to get your hands on this jet. Now we break into what I consider to be the best aircraft really in the whole game. I know that a lot of people think the Raiju is the best, but I actually consider the Western Rogue to be the best aircraft. And it's not even because it's inexpensive, it's because it features every single capability that you would ever want. And I'll showcase exactly what I mean. Now, the biggest complaint that I ever have when it comes to this aircraft in my comments section is that it handles too well. You might say, how does that make sense, Poob? Well, essentially, when you press right or left on the rudder, or you go up or down, it goes like super fast instead of being controllable. And my response to people is that inside of the customization workshop, you have the ability to tune the handling. Instead of putting on race handling, put on the softer handling settings, and it won't turn as aggressive. You're welcome. Problem solved. With that being said, the Rogue is 40% off. And the price tag is a big benefit. This aircraft is normally $1.2 million with a trade price, and it's super easy to get the trade price. All you have to do is like 15 air freight sources, which is nothing. And yeah, this week you're able to pick it up for $720,000. That is literally dirt cheap. It's cheaper than most sports cars in the game. It's a freaking plane. Couple things to know about this plane. First of all, it's, I think, the third fastest plane in the game, only beaten out by the Pyro and F-160 Raiju. It features an explosive machine gun, as you can see right here. Really, really dangerous explosive machine gun. It has homing missiles. And here's the big advantage versus the Raiju, the Hydra, or any of the other planes. It has flares. Spammable flares, I should add. You can just keep spamming them over and over and over. As you can see, that's kind of insane. And there you go. One of my homing missiles just went after the flare. So you have flares. You have every other capability. It's super fast. And one of my favorite things is that when you fly low to the ground, as you can see, it's not very quick. The reason that's super nice is because it also has bombs. And bombs are another really dangerous capability. And well, yeah, you can use these to blow people up on the ground. So it flies really slow when you're over the ground, which makes it very easy to do bombing runs. For example, we got this truck here, and did I get the truck? No, I missed it, but still, bombing is really fun, and you have every other capability. It's a two-seater, which is almost unheard of in the jets category. And then the final thing that the Rogue is going for it is durability. This aircraft can survive 3 homing missiles before being destroyed. That's insane. So not only do you have the ability to stop homing missiles from hitting you to begin with, but then you can distract them and you can survive. It really is the do-it-all plane. It's just so good. And because the maneuverability is so fast, you can outmaneuver any jet as well. It's kind of crazy. So if you don't own the Rogue, get your hands on it. If you're a beginner, if you're an experienced player, it doesn't matter. It's worth it every single penny. Let's get into the final discount. The Weaponized Tampa, one of my favorite weaponized vehicles in the game. I remember when the gun running DLC was added, and I just fell in love with this car. It's such a cool vehicle, and it has by far the most weapons out of any car in the game. So what exactly does it have going for it? Well, first of all, as you can see, it has missiles. Now, these are not homing missiles, but it does have missiles nonetheless, which you can use to destroy vehicles in front of you, as we can see. The only downside of these missiles is that they are a fixed position. You can see on the front of the car, they're all the way at the bottom. The problem with that is when you shoot these missiles, you can get very close to blowing yourself up. Even just, putting on the brakes, it's very easy to bring them close to you. If you hit a little speed bump, you got to be careful with them. So that's the first thing that this vehicle has. It also has rear mortars, which are actually really fun. You can see the rear mortar right there. Does the same damage as a homing missile, so if you hit a car with the rear mortar, oh! I didn't think that was going to happen. I really didn't. I didn't think that was going to happen. Oh my god. Let me get the Tampa back. As you can see, the Tampa cannot survive any explosions, so be a little careful about that. That is something to always keep in mind. In my opinion, the Weaponized Tampa is not the best vehicle for dealing with other online players. It's a really, really good vehicle for missions, and that's the main advantage it has over something like the Vapid Speedo Custom. You can use the Speedo Custom in all public lobbies, but you cannot use it in missions. The only way to use the Vapid Speedo Custom in missions is by completing career progress, which is a bit of a pain, and 99% of people really aren't ever going to have the option of doing. But there's one other weapon I thought we should talk about, and that is the remote minigun. By far the best weapon on the Weaponized Tampa. It's what you'll use for missions and anything else. I mean, look at how dangerous this gun is. It also has proximity mines, which are really fun to use. You can just place a proximity mine, and any car that drives over them dies. And the best part is you can spam the proximity mines. It really does make you super, super dangerous, as you can see. So, yeah, the Weaponized Tampa kind of has it all going for it. It has every weapon you'd ever want, and because of that, it's really fun to use, as you can see. If you're, pretty good at driving this car, especially in missions, it can be a blast. It's also fairly quick, goes around 113 miles per hour, which does make it about 13 miles per hour faster than the Vapid Speedo Custom. It's also got way better handling, and it just looks fantastic. I should say, though, the armor is absolutely useless. It does not actually give you any added protection, so if you don't put any of the armor paneling on the car, or you haven't unlocked it with bunker research yet, you don't actually have to worry. And talking about bunker research, you got to make sure you've done that if you want to actually fully upgrade this car. The stock Weaponized Tampa is completely useless. It's not even a remote minigun on the roof. It can't turn. It's just stationary, which is pretty pointless. So make sure you get the Weaponized Tampa upgraded, which means you also need to own either an Avenger or an MOC so that you can upgrade it there as well. You might be able to do it in the arena, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody can let me know. With that being said, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. I had an absolute blast making this one, and these are really 3 great vehicles. So, as I said, while this week may not be very good, we still do have some decent discounts, and because of that, it's not the worst week ever. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.